So very good morning, and let's start our day with chapter number 5, which is all about formatting data values. So in this, we'll be learning two topics, which is using SAS formats, and we'll be seeing how one can create user-defined formats. Now, to understand what formats are, this is what our first objective is. Now, if you remember that we did see certain values in the data, which are in the form of SAS dates, correct? So we do have data where we were working with sales data. Okay, so we have libraries I have created. I hope you all have got successfully connected to a library. So within our library, we have a data for sales. So if you open and check this data, we are actually looking into the data values and we see these dates, which are in the form of SAS date forms, right? So if we are creating a report simply by writing print data equal to oran.sales data, and we use run. So we know run lists all rows and columns to your result window. But I would not want to see all the rows. We can also always restrict SAS to show the observations so that we just get the view of our data. So I'm telling obvious equal to 10. That means SAS will print the report when observation number 10 comes. So only 10 till 10, right from 1 to 10, the observations will be displayed into results. So this is what it is. So obvious equal to option means stop point. Okay. So if you'll observe this are the values where it's telling its birth date, and this is the hire dates of the employees for the sales department. But the data is not interpretable into the report. We as a data analyst are quite knowing that this is SAS dates. That means it is in the form of number of days. But to interpret this data so that anyone can understand or read what the date is, we are going to apply a format on this so that it displays in that form. But originally the data will be in the same, that is the SAS dates, which is in the number of days. Okay. So in this case, in print, I am going to give instructions to SAS telling by writing a format statement that I want this birth date column and the hire date column. So is the column name similar what I'm typing? So let's check. So it's birth underscore date, hire underscore date. So birth underscore date, hire underscore date. So I want this birth date in the form of, suppose, date 9 dot, and this hire date column, I want it in the form of MMDDYY 10 dot. Okay, so this is the format name I'm applying on this column so that SAS understand that this format has to be applied on this column so that it displays the date in this form. So what is that form of date which it appears? So if we'll see, our birth date will appear as 2 digits of day, 3 letters of month, and 4 digits of year. So this type of format is date 9. So what is this 9? Counting this length, it comes 9. So that 2 digits of day, 3 letters of month, 4 digits of year, total width becomes 9. And that's what I had specified 9. Now what is this dot? This dot is required when I provide this date or when I provide a format. Because if you see the color of this, it is green and this is the column. If I tend to remove this and I still submit my print, it won't be an error, but I'll get a warning. So what is that warning? So it's highlighting that variable date 9 not found in the dataset sale oran.sales. So when SAS is reading this statement, it is interpreting this is a variable which is coming from this data along with birth date, date 9 and hire date. So it treats this all as variables, and this is the format to be applied on all three columns. But this variable is not found, hence SAS is not able to apply this format, which is MMDDYY 10 dot. And that is what this dot differentiates and tells us that this is the format name which you are applying on the column. And that's why we provide this period at the end of format name. Okay. So when you see the result, we'll find your date of birth and hire appears in MMDDYY 10 dot. So why 10? So it is MM means month. So that's what we have written, month, day, year, including 2 digits of month, your 2 digits of day, your year, total width should be 10. So if you check this, 2 digits of month, 2 digits of year, sorry, day, 4 digits of year, and including this forward slashes, the total width is 10. That's what this 10 represents. All good? So this is for both the columns. SAS is applying column or a common format, which is MMDDYY, and therefore it treats this as one of the variables. So this is what format is. So it's simple to describe it as format is nothing but instructions given to SAS to display your data values in a specific form. All good? Yes? Followed? Any
Yes.
questions? Okay.
So there is difference between 9 and 10. If we are writing 9 dot, then it is giving us the
No,
name.
when it is MMDDYY, if you try to give it 9, it will not work. Why? Because this type of format not uses, okay, so what it is using? So count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is giving 9 width. So what has happened? 4 digits of year is now reduced to 2 digits. So if I reduce this more to 8, okay, and I execute same thing this also. If I give this 8, let's see how it displays. So it's trying to fit the value as per the width which we have provided. Understood?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what. It's just the width to display the values. Fine. So let's see on the slides. It's telling objective will be defining SAS formats, and we'll see how to apply existing SAS formats with the format statement. So it's the same example. Now here they have also displaying for salary. Now salary should be an enhanced value because it's a currency. You could see there is a dollar sign and a comma sign after every 1,000 places, and your date of hire, it is in the form of MMDDYY. So that's what the definition is. SAS formats can be used in your proc step to change how values display in a report. And that's what it's the instructions we give to SAS to display the values in a specific form, which we give the instructions, right? So we are writing in proc step format statement so that the values are displayed in a specific form. So for salary, they are using $8 dot. So it's telling here the syntax is it's a statement, hence it's starting with the identifying keyword, ends with a semicolon. You can specify multiple variables with a common format or a variable with a respective format. And then you could see the values are enhanced. Okay. So what is a format? So a format is an instructions to write data values. A format changes the appearance of a variable's value in a report. It just changes the appearance of the values in the report. It is not affecting the values. Please make a note, because the format which I have written in my proc print, if I go and check my proc contents to check whether any changes has happened to my data descriptor portion, I use my same data set. I use run, and when I check the contents, you will find the column appears with no formats being admitted. See, so there is a different column appearing in the alphabetic list of values and variables telling your variable, its type, its length, and a fourth column format. So hire date, birth date, no formats. Why? Because we have applied formats in proc print. So it is just for temporarily for the report purpose. It will display the values in this form. Originally, the column values are not hampered at all. All good?
Ashwini, just one question. In birth date also can we keep the keyword as MMDDYY?
Yeah, so that's what the syntax was telling, right? You can use multiple variables with a single format. So earlier also we used the same. So you can have multiple columns with the same format. So it's showing here. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So it's telling a format changes the appearance of a variable's value in a report. The values stored in data are not changed. So originally your date is in SAS date, number of days. You apply various formats. It is not affecting. It's just the way how you are displaying to the report. And this is the original numeric value. You apply comma or you apply dollar. It's just how to display. It is not affecting the original values. And this is the format syntax. If it is a character type of variable value, it should begin the format name should begin with a dollar, give the format, give the width, and if it is numeric, you give the decimal. Therefore, all these are in optional parentheses. Okay, now in our data, we do have values for character as well. So if I don't want my first name or last name with the original, whatever the length is, I want every value of my first and last only with 4 width. Okay, so I can always include the column in my data. Suppose the column name we have is first underscore name and last underscore name. So I can write first underscore name, last underscore name. I want, because the values are character, dollar, and I want the 4 width, I simply write dollar 4 dot. So this indicates we are applying a format of 4 width for your character type of variables, hence this dollar. So now when I check the output, my result where the data values are been shown, it all shows the values only till 4 width. Understood? Yes, no. It's just how to display the value. So it is just applying for both the columns a common format $4 dot. All good? Yes? No? Everyone? Are you all with me?
Yes.
Yes, Ashwini.
Okay. This is how same different columns with same format, and it's a character type, hence dollar and the width. That's what it's telling. Dollar format name width dot D. This indicates for numeric. Okay. So we'll see some of the examples here. So dollar W dot, it writes standard character data. So same thing we'll see with the example. So here, because the value is character, you're writing $4 dot, it appears with only 4 bit value. This is your original data where this other digits with decimal. You are asking the format applied is 12 dot. 12 dot means it's just a width. So you're telling the total width should be 12. But originally your data is having how many width value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 width, but you're giving an extra width. So it's and no decimal. So it's trying to save this number in a whole number. See, it rounded up, it's 3, 5. Here it's 3, 4. This decimal places has added 1 on this 4 and it has rounded the number. Though the value is not more than 12 and the width is also large enough, it's adjusting the value. Now, same value you're asking width dot D, that means 12.2 with 2 decimal places. It's trying to adjust the value with 2 decimal places. The width is large enough, so it's not affecting any value. You're applying a format of the comma 12 dot. Applying a comma and the 2 decimal places, total width should be 12. So this is what it's showing you. Are you following? So comma is added by default at its every 1,000 place. Are you all with me? Because you are applying a format of $12.2. So including a dollar sign and a comma sign and two decimal places, it represents the values like this. Comma X and Euro X are the values which represents for European currencies. The displaying of decimal is exactly opposite as we do for normal for our numeric values. The decimal values with comma X is represented with comma and 1,000 places with period. And same thing with euro. Only thing is with euro it shows the currency, 1,000 place with period and decimal values with comma. All good? It's just the way how currency displays. Yes, are you all with me? You can observe the slide carefully. Done? Followed? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Dollar.
You can observe the slide. Once done, let me know.
Okay.
Rest, Sharda and Vaishnavi.
Yes, understood.
Understood? Okay. So moving ahead, what they are trying to tell in this slide is, if you start decreasing the width, how the values try to fit among the given or provided width. Now here, this is the original data. You are applying $12.2. Original value itself has a width of 10, but this is an extra width. So including dollar sign, comma sign, and two decimal places, total width it's trying to adjust within the 12 width. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So including the special signs, comma and dollar, and two decimal places, it's adjusting this value with the given width. Now we have decreased the width now as telling $9.2. That means SAS has to apply a dollar sign, apply a comma sign, including two decimal places, total width should be 9. Now our original data itself has total width of 10, but you're asking the width is reduced to 9. So see how the SAS is trying to fit the value within the 9 places or 9 width. So it's not giving the comma sign. All good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's trying to fit the 9 places. Now there is no extra width provided to display the comma. So it's not showing the comma. Now the width is still reduced to 8. But still SAS has to fit in the value within 8 width, including dollar sign, including comma, two decimal places. So it's adjusting with two decimal places, but it's not having a large enough width to display the dollar and comma. So your data will not be displayed with dollar and comma. You have reduced the width still next to 5 width. So see, it's not even able to display the value with the decimal. Though you have given 0.2, 5.2. Now it's $4.2, it's trying to show the value in exponential. Just observe this slide. Understood this slide? Any doubts here? Yes?
Yeah. Actually, what's the pattern with this? I mean, the size is reduced
There's
with
no
the
pattern.
with the
It's just total width, no pattern. It will try
okay.
to fit the value. If there is not large enough width, it will first see that whether it can be displayed the special signs. No, then of course, then if not special signs, then it will work on decimal places. No pattern,
Okay.
but yeah, it will first preference. It will try to not display the values with special signs. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now you all know how to read the help document. So open your support.sas.com, go into your help facility for your programming environment and search for format zw.d and tell what does this zw.d do on your numeric values. Go and explore it on your help facility.
Where we have to explore it?
Support.sas.com. See, I'll tell you how. So you can always come to your Explorer window, support.sas.com. I'll give you this link also into the chat box. This is almost always needs to be handy for you people. Okay, so it's like a dictionary for us. So you can click here 9.4 SAS programming 9.4. So all the procedures, all the data steps, statements, whatever we are learning is all available on this website. So in this, you can always look into your within procedures, you have a format, check into data step, go into formats, see into SAS formats, dictionary of formats. Within it, check here, it's all alphabetic list of formats. So ours is starting with Z. So you can click with Z and you'll find this. So you need to read what this tell and what that Z is doing. Go ahead. Done, everyone? Were you able to explore? So what that ZW dot D, so what that Z stands for? Yes? Vaishnavi, Nagendra, Sharda.
Sorry, there was a power cut. I joined from the mobile data. I'll go through the recording with the part
No
which I
problem,
missed.
no problem. Vaishnavi, Nagendra.
It is explaining the number examples we saw that only, na?
No, what does this ZW dot D, what this Z is? So if you click here, it's tell you that it, including the width and decimal places, yeah, the total width. So it's telling that Z means the leading zeros. Pad the values with leading zeros. Okay, so that's what it's trying to tell you.
Okay.
So here you're given that for this number,
Z8.
Z8
So
dot. So total width is 8, but you're telling Z, but the value is not that big. So it will pad it with leading zeros so that the
zeros.
total width becomes 8. Understood now?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
See, read this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nagendra,
Yes,
are
it
we
will.
good?
Yeah, it will fit with the zeros.
Yeah, so it will
number.
try to adjust the width total with its leading zeros.
Yes.
Okay. So this was one thing. Now this is the example with dates. So your original dates are in the number of days and you're applying various formats. So original day is 0 day. That means 1st Jan 1960. You're applying MMDDYY 10 dot. So it's displaying the value with month, day, and 4 digits of year with forward slash, including forward slash, total width is 10. Now we have reduced the width to 8. So the total width, including MMDDYY, it's trying to adjust with 8 width. So there is no 2 digits of or 4 digits of year. Okay, so it's removed 19 digits. Okay, then it reduced more to 6. So there is no space enough. So it is not showing you the forward slash. Now the date in the system is 365 day. That means 1 year.
Days.
Correct? So it's 31st December 1960. Because you are applied the format as DDMMYY, it's date, month, year, total width. Same like this. Only the difference is first it displays the day, then the month, then the 4 digit year with forward slash total width is 10. Same, it's similar like this, only it's DDMMYY. It's trying to reduce the width. So because you have reduced the width, it's trying to fit it within the applied width. And these are some of the examples, which is date 7 dot, date 9 dot, word date dot. Now word date dot will display it along with the value in the words for the month, the day, comma, and the year. So this format is word date dot. If you want to display what week of that day was, you can apply a format of week date. If you simply want to display it with MONYY7 dot, which shows 3 letters of month, 4 digits of year, it will show it in this way. And if you just want to extract or display the same date only with the year, you apply a format of year 4 dot. So the same day will display only the year. All good? Observe it. It's very simple. Fine? Followed? Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
okay. So now answer this poll. They're telling this is the displayed output, which is the correct form of format statement to apply this, or which is showing this type of report.
C option.
Okay. Nagendra and Vaishnavi.
Yes. C.
C1.
Absolutely correct. Okay. So the date is in this form where you have, of course, you will not have month of 21. So it's day. And this is again the day and the month, because we never have month of 15. So it should be MMDDYY. And this is just month and year. So it is MONYY7 with DDMMYY 10 dot on, same columns or two columns with same format. Yes. Any doubts, any questions here? So let's have a exercise on this so that we'll have a hands-on. So coming to your PDF book, come to your page number 5-11, level 1, exercise number 1. So try this.
Hello.
Yes, Sharda.
Am I audible?
Yeah, tell me.
No, the exercise number.
Here, it's on page 5-11, level 1, exercise number 1.
It's 105E01, right?
Yeah, so this is what it's telling. You have to open an existing code. Yes. Okay, and then you'll have to work on it.
Yes, done. Got it.
Okay, so your code should resemble like this.
Got it.
Nagendra,
Yes, why 11.2? Right.
so that all the values, including your dollar sign, comma sign, it should get fit within it. So you have given 11. If you want, if I reduce it, okay, just stop there. If you give a maximum width, it will have no effect. It will not harm to display the value. But if you give less width, so this is what it's see. What happened? Not enough width to display special sign, and one of them is comma for this huge number. Rest all can be adjusted, but what about these two huge numbers? There's no enough width to display, comma, for its 10,000s or 1,000 places. Understood? So they've just given it 11. If you want to consume 12 also, it will not harm. All good?
Okay.
As a standard, we can give maximum 12 only, right?
Yeah. But if your number is still huge, because sometimes you may have digits which is 16 digits, 17
Correct.
digits, you can increase the width, no harm. All right. Next topic is user-defined formats, but we'll take a break and then we'll start this topic, okay? So it's almost 11:17. Let's move in by 11:30, okay? Not 30, sorry. Yeah, it's almost 11:20 only. So let's have a 10 minutes break. Move in by 11:30.
Okay.
Okay, so next topic of this chapter is user-defined formats. Now, in our last topic, we had seen there are certain formats which we were using it because those are ready to use and those are available for us, which are there into SAS dictionary. But what if in our current example, which is yours. Now the report which we see for a previous topic where the gender is M, F, which resembles male, female, correct? Or the country is AU, but we want as Australia. Okay, and the country is US, we want as United States. Okay, but we don't have any ready to use formats on this data values because dates and numeric digits, those are standard values. So SAS have some predefined formats for it. But what about this? So this is something where, as per the business, the scenario to display the values changes. And accordingly, we cannot use the ready-to-use SAS formats. So we'll have to have some way that this values can be displayed as male and this as female, AU as Australia, US as United States. So this is as per the business requirement. So in this case, a analyst has or is having that ability or is does have that syntax where we can create our own view formats. And thus the topic is we can create user defined formats. Okay, so how does the user formats or user defined formats are created? So for that, yes, we are going to use a procedure called as proc format. Okay, now this is a statement, a generalized statement. It is not applied on any specific data. So the formats created by this procedure is also going to be universally applied on any data values, not on a specific table. So to create our own user format name, it is been enabled for us by giving this statement called value. Now, because these values for gender or country are character type of value, and the format name which we have to create is going to be applied on this character values, we are going to give the name for the format starting with a $, and you can give the name as gender, and you can specify telling SAS that in your data we have original value as M, and this should be displayed with a label. It's going to be a label. We are not changing the original values. So wherever there is M, it should be displayed as female. And of course, wherever there is F, this also should be displayed with word female. So this value statement is ending with this. All the data values with this displaying value has been defined. And this is the user defined format name which we are creating. Because the original values are character, the name is starting with $sign. Okay, so this is your original data. It should be displayed like this. So whatever other rows or values, it should be displayed. So in our data, sometimes we may have a missing value or we may have some typo error. So all those values apart from F and M, okay, apart from F and M should be displayed as, so we give the keyword as other, and it should be displayed as miscoded. All right. So this is what, apart from this value from your data, should be displayed like this. And with this, you end your step with run. Now we know run is indicating end of the step. Correct? So this is how your procedure format looks. And this procedure format gives us that ability to create our own user-defined formats. Being a data analyst, we can always create our own formats. So now when I execute this, though this is a proc format, understand it's not like proc print or proc means which generates the result, but it's a procedure to create a format. Hence, it's creating a format. It's giving you the message telling format $gender has been output. So this is the user-defined format which we have created. So while creating this name is not ending in period in your value statement, because here we are creating, we are not applying. So if you want to create or you want to apply, going back into this data in this proc step, I'll just copy this again and we'll paste it here. So I'm applying on this data. Okay, and I may also tell another instruction into format statement telling this gender column should get applied with $gender, which is our user defined format. And of course, because it's a format name, provide a period. So now when I execute the same procedure of proc print, wherever there was M, it's no more as M, but it is displaying, it's just displaying original values is still M, okay? So it's just displaying as male and female. So it is type of lookup. So wherever in gender it looks for the value M, it will display with male. Wherever there is F, it will display with female in this column gender. And in case any other value apart from this two will be displayed as miscoded. All good. Understood how one can create a user-defined format with a procedure format? Yes. Yes, Nagendra, Sharda.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's check the same on the slides for the description. So objective here is we'll be using a format procedure to create user-defined formats. We'll see how to apply the user-defined formats in a format statement. Okay, and we'll see how to use this to recode your data value and how to aggregate or collapse your data values. Now, this is the example with country. So they're telling for this country values, it should display as AU as Australia and United States as US as United States. Hence, the procedure. So it's value, format name, range. So why range? Because yeah, sometimes you may provide a range of values to be displayed with specific label, or you can give this example as discrete values. Now, because this is a keyword, you're not putting in quotes because this is not a part from your data. Hence, you're not putting in quotes. In your data, the original values are like this, and those are character type, therefore you put in quotation. And the format name you're creating is because your data values are character, you write it dollar and they give this name as country FMT, and this should be labeled as like this and this as like this. So after giving all the values and its label, you end your value statement. Okay, so within proc format, you can use multiple value statements. So in a single proc format, you can create multiple formats. Okay, so we'll see that also. And then you are applying it on country. So when you apply this on country, you'll find the data values are displayed as per the format which you have applied it in a format statement of your profit. So this is what the country values are displayed. So let's see the description for value statement. So it's telling the label which we are applying on the original value should not be more than 32 characters long. For character formats, the name of the format should always begin with a $sign, followed with letter or underscore. Numeric formats must begin with letter or underscore. Cannot end in number, cannot give the same number as a already existing SAS formats. And in a value statement, your format name is never ending with period. All good? Understood?
Yes.
All right. So if this is followed, so it's telling what this range or what this values could be. It could be a single value as we saw as M, F from your data, discrete values, or like AU or US, or it could be range of values or list of values. This labels can be up to 32,767 characters long. And because those are labels, it has to be given into quotation marks. So if you have followed it, what is the valid user-defined format name among these all options?
I think it is CDE.
Okay. Others? Vaishnavi and Nagendra?
The C is invalid.
Okay. So what is invalid? It's B and E. Why? Because here the name should start with dollar but not have numeric. It
Numeric.
can end with number. And dollar is already existing format of SAS, which we have already seen, right? Hence, these two are invalid. All good?
It can start with underscore. Huh?
Yeah, it can. It's telling you, no? See? All good?
Understood. Yes.
So, this is some of the examples which we have already seen. Keyword, this is from your data discrete values, and you are applying it. Okay? Okay, this is just something which we are discussing. Now, let's see how one can aggregate the values. Now, what is it telling for this numeric value for salary? That they do not want to see the discrete salaries in the report. They want to know that depending on the salary, in which category this person falls. So accordingly, you'll have to give the range of salaries and define their categories in your format so that this falls into tier 1, tier 2, tier 1 and tier 3 respectively, depending on the salary ranges. Getting it? So the Orange Star manager wants a report that shows employee salaries collapsed or aggregated into 3 user-defined groups or tiers, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. The highest salary more than lakh falls under the group or a category, which is tier 3, which is a salary owner maybe between 80 to 1 lakh or 50 to 1 lakh should fall under a group of tier 2 and rest all should be tier 1. Okay. So how we can display this data not with a discrete value but with your aggregation. So this is what we can provide this information. So this is what they're telling between 0 to 49.999 falls under tier 1. Then 50,000 to 99,999 should fall under tier 2 and 1 lakh to 2 lakh 50,000 should fall under tier 3. Now understand this range carefully. They have included the whole numbers. So this is what the values will fall. So you are writing this telling value, give your format name because your numbers are, these are the values from your data. Those are numeric values. The name of the format is not starting with $sign, correct? So it's just tier as the name of the format. The range you are giving, so it's numeric range between 0 to 49,999. The label should be tier 1 and same thing. And then the same demo where you are implementing. Okay. So what is this demo? D04. So I'll be showing you this demo. Do not work until I tell you. Fine. So this is your tier where you are creating the format named as tier. Okay, tiers. And this is the data step where with data lines, they are telling us that they are creating columns with the values and their salaries. Now understand the salaries carefully. As I said, here you are providing the ranges as discrete values or a whole number. Okay. And I'm applying this on this data. So I'm creating this data and I'm applying with ProcPrint with my tiers. Of course, this is falling in tier 2, tier 1, tier 3. But what about this value? Original salary is 50,000. Oh, sorry, 49,999.99. But it's not taking into any of the tier. It's giving 50,000. This is what it is. But the data is between 49,999.99 and 50. So it's not falling nor in tier 1 nor in tier 2. Hence the result shows a value as it is. Understood? Yes. No.
Yeah, it's not falling into any of the tier.
Yeah, correct. So this was a
Yes.
value, right?
Missing.
So in case now, if we give the width for it, let's see whether it still falls into any of the categories. Still no. It's not at all falling into its any categories. Now, how can we work? Now, because this is not specified anything between this end values should have been taken care with any of the group, but that instructions are not been provided in this ranges. So how to take care of this type of scenarios? So that's what they are trying to tell you, that you can use this type of sign. If you give just a range, it will take care of this as a starting point, this as an ending point, and both the starting and ending points are included into your values. If you give 50 hyphen and this sign facing towards the higher number, it will include your lower range, but not your higher range. That's what it's telling. If you write in this format, your lower range is not included, but higher range is included. And if you give it in this form, both the end values are not included. So it excludes. Okay, so understand this scenario and answer this code. How is value 50,000 displayed if the tiers format below is applied to the value? So it will fall under which category? A, B, C, or D? Or it will show a tier 1, tier 2, or just 50,000 or a missing value.
Tier 2.
Okay. Others?
Second only, tier 2.
Okay. Any more? Sharda? Answer is tier 2. Why? Because we had seen that if you write hyphen behind this slash, correct?
Yeah, it will include the value.
Yeah, it will include your lower value, correct? So this is what it was. So if you say it includes your lower limit, not your upper limit. And if you give like this, it includes your upper limit, but not the lower limit. So it falls under your this category. All good? Tier 2. All right. If in case you are not having the starting points or higher points, you can simply use these keywords low, hyphen, greater than this, give this value, and anything above 1 lakh high in foreign tier 2. So these two are the keywords. So you can also include these keywords. Fine. So in our case also, we can say something of that sort itself. So we can write it here instead of 0, write low and include your value like this. Correct? And of course, here you can say anything between this and high. Right? So if you write this way, let's check whether if I re-execute your tier in log, of course it will give you message that it was already into your library. And see, understand, when we are creating user defined formats, a type of file called as catalog is created and it is saved with the catalog name as formats in your work library. And within this formats, tier were already there, but because we changed its instructions, it again updated it. Hence, it gives the message that it was already there, but again, it has recreated. Now, let's apply and check whether it's now applying our values or is our value been taken care? No, it's still showing your salary is still there. Original is still there. So what has happened? We have not including this. correct? So instead of writing it in this way, why don't we use a whole number so that the values get included, correct? Right?
Yes.
And now, you see, it's falling into tier one. All right. So this is how it is. So this is part one, and this is the part two where you're applying your format. So it's into demo D06. All right. So as earlier, where we had created this format, in a single proc format, we can create multiple formats. So if you want, I can apply or I can create another format with value for my country. So I can give the format name as country FMT, which should be in my data. I have AU should be applying with the label as Australia. US should be United States. Okay, so two different values with their independent semicolons, this semicolon for this value. And here I can apply on the country column. Format is $CNT RY FMT dot. Let's execute it. So see, so now if I increase or just increase the number of observations to output and re-execute my proc print, and I check if the United States are also there. No, so all the values earlier is showing for Australia. So I can remove this restriction and execute this to check whether US is now representing as United States. If I scroll bottom, yes, so from observation 65 onwards, I had the value for US. Hence, it's showing all United States. All F and M are represented as male and female. All good now? Understood? Yes, no.
Yes.
So what you can do is you can work on this demo D04 and D06. Okay, go ahead.
अश्विनी इसमें जो साइन है लेस देन
हाँ बोलो.
तो लेस देन वाला साइन जो है उसकी जगह LT लगाया तो काम नहीं हो रहा है।
Anti? I do not understand.
आई मीन जो साइन है लेस देन वाला,
हाँ
LT लेस
LT
देन।
नहीं, वो
यस,
नहीं यूज होगा क्योंकि यही जो डेवलप किए हुए वही यूज करेंगे ना, लो एंड हाई एंड अदर. यू कैन नॉट यूज LT because that
ओके
is not at all been developed as a keyword for this particular formats.
ओके, ये
Understood?
साइन।
So you should
ओके।
use this only. Done with the demonstrations, D04 and D06? Yes. Okay, if done, so come to the slide. So let's see how more the list or the ranges of the values can be defined for your format, which we need to apply. So look at this format value, month FMT. So they are telling here 1, 2, 3. So you can give the list of values. Now, because your data has this as a numeric value, you don't put into quotes. These 3 months are falling into quarter 1. You are giving this information. Either you can give this as a discrete values. So this is the list between the range between 4th and 6th month should fall into quarter 2. Then between the range of 7 and 8 month quarter 3, and between 10 to 12 quarter 4. And because the values for this numbers in your data are numeric, it's telling if in case in your data you have missing values, so you give it as period, should be labeled as missing. And apart from all other these values in your data, if there is anything, you give the keyword other should be shown into your data or displayed for your data values as unknown. Followed, this is the example for all the 3 categories: discrete values, range values, missing value, keyword. All good? Followed? Yes, Nagendra, Vaishnavi, Sharda.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said you earlier also, in a single procedure of format, you can write multiple value statement to create their individual formats. So this comes in demo D07, and you can apply it in your procedure with a format statement on the column with the format name followed with this period, which distinguish between the column and the format name. And you find the output result, the format has been applied. Now, these are the user-defined formats and these are the SAS-defined formats. So you can make use of both into your format statement on respective columns. Any questions? Yes. Followed with user-defined formats. Yes, no. Okay, so if you have understood, you can work on this demo D07. Done with the demos, everyone? Any questions? You have exercise and then this is the end of your chapter. So what I will leave to you is exercise as a self-study. Okay. So the next topic of this chapter is going to be your lesson number 6, which is reading SAS datasets. Are you all with me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So just take the initial part of it. Okay. So exercise is a self-study for you for today, for your previous chapter. So let's get introduced to chapter 6, which is all about reading SAS dataset. So till chapter 5, we had got introduced with proc steps. So we had seen how the proc steps is used, that is predominantly a proc print to display the data values. Then we had seen 2 other procedures like proc sort earlier in chapter 4 and proc format now before the topic, which were the procedures were used to enhance your reportings, correct? But now if we have to create our own data as per the business requirement, how can we create the data sets? Because we are very much familiar that procs are the step just to process the data sets and not to create a data set. So if you remember, we had already got introduced to one of the steps earlier that how one can create the data set. So we had seen the data step with data lines also. So earlier we had seen this example. Initially, I had shown you in very first example only. With data lines, one can create the data set by typing the values for the columns which we are creating, and we are defining the columns as well. So this is where the input source is not provided, but we are providing the values for the columns. But in case if I want to create a new data on the sales data set itself, where I want to add a new column for the sales data, that we know this data actually consists the column salary, but in apart from all these 9 columns, so yes, it does have 9 columns. So how do I know? Because we had seen the contents earlier also. It has 165 rows and 9 columns. I want to create a new column on this data. So for that, whenever we have to create a data set, we always use a data step. I want to create a data called sales1, and the source is Orion.sales. So I'm going to use a set statement which represents SAS, that we are going to create a data set by reading from an existing SAS data set. Hence, we use a set statement. So this is already a predefined table which is saved into a permanent library, and I'm creating a new data set. Because I do not use any livref, it will be default be saved into work library. So from a permanent data, I'm creating one temporary data. So I can execute this data step, and when I check my log, understand the instructions, the notes which SAS has provided. So it's telling when you had submitted this data step, SAS has read this statement, always make a note. SAS process your steps sequentially from top to bottom, and it reads every statement from sideways, that is left to right. So it's telling, note, there were 165 observations read from your data set, Orion.cells. Now, why this note? Because of this set statement, which is an indication to SAS that we are providing an input source, which is the name called as Orion.sales dataset. And from that dataset, SAS is reading 165 observations, and it's telling it is by default creating this data Though we have not provided any library, it's default getting saved into work library. This is the name of the data file. So all 165 observations are copied along with 9 variables. So this is the data set which we have created by reading from an input source existing data file. We have created in a new data. So with simple 3 statements, we have created new data by copying all rows and columns from input to your output data. And this is what you get this data set. All good? Understood this? So this is what we are reading the data set. So we are going to get introduced with the data step. And of course, we'll see how one can subset the rows with the where statement, how one can create new variable for a new data set as well. Now the scenario here is, we'll understand this new way of reading or creating a data through a business scenario. So it's telling information about Orange Star sales employees. We know it resides into various data files for our organization, and we know employees are coming from various countries. So this is the various sources of data which we have for this employees. This is the source of existing SAS file, Excel file, or raw file. So in this scenario, we have to read the input source could be any source to create a SAS file to generate reports. So what is the poll here? It's a simple poll that depending on your work experience, what is your experience of reading the various files? So it depends on your work experience, okay? Now, the first part of this is we are going to read in this chapter the input source is an existing SAS file by creating a new data set to use how to use a data step to read an input source, which is an existing SAS file, to create a new SAS file. And this SAS file should have the information of only sales employees from the country Australia, and that job title should contain a word rep. This is a scenario. But ultimately, we'll just work on this part. Now, you know very well what the where statement does. So same thing, what I can do, going back into our code, instead of writing sales, I use a data set name as per your business requirement, which is subset 1. Okay, I'm going to read it from existing data, and this data should have a data file where the employees are for the country AU, right? And we want their job title. I hope you remember this part, which we have already done from your lesson 4, where we had seen proc print and subsetting, correct? Contains the word REP. So if I simply use this, now understand, now it will read, of course, this input data, but it will filter the data on this requirement. So your output data will not have all the rows, that is 165 rows from your input. It will have only those rows which we have asked to subset the data. So by writing a where statement in data step, it is going to work on this criteria. So that's what it's telling. Only 61 observations were read from your input source by using this filter criteria. Hence, the new data set has 61 observations and 9 variables. So if you see your data, but instead of looking into a data output, let's see its proc print so that we come to know the data value. So it is subset 1 data set and run. So when I check this list output, you know your proc print will generate the result in result window, and you'll find these are the observations for the employees from country AU, and they had a word REP irrespective of this levels. So these are all 61 observations which are fulfilling our criteria as per our business requirement. Understood, everyone? Yes, no?
Yes.
All right. So earlier we had simply created data which was sales 1, and I use set Orion dot sales. So you know it default here copies all rows and columns to your output data. So this is the output data. This is the output data. Why output data? Because it's the resulting output data set from the upcoming statements of your data set. All good? Understood? So you can try this. I've given you the code into chat box. So quickly try.
Got it.
All right. So if this is followed, so let's understand this syntax, what they are explaining. Of course, this is a data statement and it's the beginning of a data step. So here you give the name of your data, which is to be created either as per your scenario. If you want to save it permanently, you can give a library of permanent library. So it will create a permanent data. Here you are giving work library. So it's creating a temporary data set. Your set statement is something where you give the information to SAS to read from an input data source, which is a SAS data file. You are asking it to read either which ways, again, from a temporary data to a new data set or from a permanent data to create a data set. All right, so by default, if we do not write where, by default, SAS copies all rows and columns from input to your output data. And of course, where, it will subset the rows as per your criteria. It's just applying a filter and you see the data has been appropriately selected. Okay, now answer this code. Consider this data step below where you are creating a data called US. Now pay attention, there is no library. So by default, what libraries SAS will use here? Yes. In which library this US data set will be saved? Yes. Work, correct?
Oran.
Work. Here there
Yes,
is no
work.
library, correct? Of course, you are reading from Oran. Fine.
Oran.
Okay. But now look into this. Consider this is your data step. Now answer this question. Considering this data step, which statement is true? Is it A, B, C, or D? Now, if you want to see the code, just open your PDF book and check this code for this lesson. Or if you want, I'll just show you this code again. See this code carefully. Done. Now answer this. A, B, C, or D.
D.
Okay. Vaishnavi Sharda, what's your inputs? Do you agree with Nagendra?
B.
It's B. It reads a permanent data set and creates a temporary one. So this part we had already discussed earlier also. So this is what it is. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me.
ओरियन
me.
क्रिएट नहीं किया था उसने
नहीं,
तो फिर
और
भी
आयन तो लाइब्रेरी एग्जिस्टिंग है ना, तो ये अपनी परमानेंट
Existing है।
लाइब्रेरी है, और ये यहाँ पे लिब्रेफ दिया नहीं तो वो वर्क में सेव होगा, डिफॉल्ट
okay
लाइब्रेरी, करेक्ट?
yes
All right. Now what is it that this new data set should be having, apart from salary and all other columns, a new column called as bonus. And this bonus is going to be a 10% of the salary for each Australian sales employee. So going back, how to create the new column for this new data. So I can create a column by using an assignment statement, giving the new column name to the right side of my equal to sign, and I give my expression, which is a 10% of salary. So 10% means now salary, we know percent sign SAS won't understand. So we are going to give it like this. Correct? Now, when I check this expression, I'm going to check my log first. So including 9 variables from an existing data set, it is now creating 10 variables. So which is the 10th variable? Bonus. Got it? And when I check my output, I find 10% of my salary for 26,600 is 2,660. Understood? And how do I use it? I use this as an expression, or we term it as an assignment statement, where I'm assigning a value from an expression to my variable which I'm creating. So the variable name is written to the left side of my assignment, that is equal to sign, and with this expression it will be creating this column. All good? Yes. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see this on slides. Fine. So how to subset on hire date, that we'll see later. Yeah, so how to subset on hire date? So they want all the dates or people who were hired before 1st Jan 2000. So you know you can apply this with a date constant into your expression. So you put your date in the form of 2 digits of month, 3 letters of month, 2 digits of day, 4 or 2 digits of year, put it into quotes and D. So this calendar date with this D constant will be converted into SAS date. So this is one way where you can also subset your data on hire dates. Now how to apply this bonus? So you use an assignment statement. So variable equal to expression semicolon. So though this is a statement, it's not starting with a keyword, but it's an assignment statement where you are assigning some values coming from an expression for a variable. So either this variable could be an existing variable or a new variable. So you are creating a new variable equal to salary into 0.10, which is 10% of salary will be calculated when you get the output. So this expression could be the operands or operators. So operators are like this. It could be a SAS function also. And operands, of course, it could be character constant, numeric constant, date constant, character variables or numeric variables. So these are some of the examples where we are asking SAS to assign a value for salary, which is a numeric constant. We are assigning a salary, a gender value, which is a female. We are assigning a constant date where every row for hire date will have same date. And this is example of function where you are extracting the month value from a date. And this is an arithmetic expression. So these are all 5 types of assignment statements which you can use into your data step to create a new variable or update a new variable with an assignment statement. So what are functions? So this is one example, and how functions are used we'll see in upcoming topics. But remember, if you're using any arithmetic operations and your operations has all these symbols, in case you are doing multiplication as well as division, understand it is the priority. What SAS will give first priority to exponentials, second priority to multiplication and division, and third priority to addition and subtraction. So this priority will also, it always follows same as your mathematical BODMAS rule. That is, in case if you remember, if you give any expression, BODMAS, so it brackets off, then it's second priority for division and multiplication and addition and subtraction. Getting it? The same priority. All good? समझ में
Yes.
आ रहा है हम लोग क्या सीख रहे हैं? शारदा वैष्णवी.
Ashwini, adding an extra column, we have to put it under where statement. Like you created one column, right? Bonus.
We did not use it in where statement here. Where statement ends independently here. It's an assignment. It's a altogether new statement. Where is to subset the observations.
Okay.
The rows. We are creating
got
a new
ended.
column altogether.
So for this, we are not putting any statement. We are just putting bonus is equal to salary, and
This
we are
itself is termed as assignment statement. That's what this slide is also trying to tell us. It's assignment statement. See the expression? And this is the example of this syntax.
10 is nothing but 10% of the salary, right?
Salary, yes. Because in SAS, we cannot use the percent sign. Because it's a special sign and SAS never works on special signs. It understands the simple digits. So this becomes a non-standard data for SAS. If I write like this, SAS won't understand 10% of salary with the percent sign. So it's highlighting it. It's telling expecting an arithmetic operator. Hence, we used it this way.
Converted as decimal.
Got it?
Okay.
Yes. So this was all about your external. And thus see the same thing, it's telling it's added a new column into your data, a 10th column. Okay. Now, of course, it subsetted the data, those who were hired before 1st Jan 2000. And of course, they're also telling bonuses. And now this is slide, it has been shifted here and there, but understand it's been done. Okay. Now answer this code. It's telling this is your data variables X, Y, Z. X is a missing value, Y is 4, Z is 10. If you are calculating N1 by using this expression, what will be the value? If you are calculating N2 by using this expression, what will be the value? Now understand all the BODMAS rule and their expressions also gets used here. So accordingly, answer the code. And remember, it is a missing value. You know, SAS never works on missing. So accordingly, answer the question. Yes, so how would we N1, for example, now? N1 is going to be pointer. So this N1 equal to, it's going to be Y. What is the Y value? 4 plus what is Z value? 10 divided by 2. So it will be like this. So as per your BODMAS rule, first priority brackets off, second priority division and multiplication. So here we have division. So what it will be first? So it will be as 4 as it is. Addition will not be at the first stage. but division will occur. So it will be 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then third priority, 4 plus 5, 9. Understood? Yes, no.
Yes.
Then
9.
here, how N2 is calculated? So what is your X value? Period. So period plus Z. What is the Z value? 10. So this 10 divided by 2. So as per Bodmer's rule, it will first work on, so missing is as it is. So 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. But as you know, SAS never works on missing value. Missing plus any value, miss any subtraction value, miss division, multiplication, any value results to missing. This is the
Okay.
answer. All good?
Yes.
So if you'll see this, that's what it's telling. 9 missing. Same thing what I have showed here earlier. Fine.
Yes. Fine.
1 second. All right. And you have a small exercise on this. So before moving to this exercise, I will leave to you as a self-study. I've already given you this into your chat box, but I'll again review you. So please work on this. Go ahead. Done with this?
Yes.
Okay. Rajendra, Sharda.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is customizing SAS data set. So we'll see how one can. Now we had seen how to select the observations, correct? So for your output data, when we saw into log, it is selecting all the row columns, but I don't want to select all the columns. The columns which I want into output, suppose I want the employee ID, okay? I want their gender, their salary, when they were hired, and bonus. I just want this columns. So how do I select the columns? To select the columns in my output data, either I use a drop statement to drop those I don't want, or I use a keep statement which I want in my output data. If the list of variables for keep is small, I use the keep statement. I want employee ID space. I want their salary column. I want their new column which we created is bonus, and I want the higher data. Let's see what is the result by writing a keep statement. So keep means those I want in my output. So when I check my log, let's see what SAS is telling. A new data set is created. Obviously, it has filtered on rows, and also now we have selected only few variables to my new data set. Now contains 61 observations and 4 variables. And what are those 4 variables? If I see the report, employee ID, salary, hire date, and books. So when I'm telling keep, that means the variables name which I have not used, those are automatically dropped for my output data. Understood? Yes. It is
Similar to var, right?
It is similar to var, but remember, var works only on result. Your original table is not hampered. But when I use tab or drop in data step, my output data only has those variables. All other variables from input data are not selected. Understood? Understood?
Yes.
So you can add this statement in your current data step. Check your log and see the output. And check drop contents for this new data subset one as well. And then tell me how many variables it has. Done?
Hello.
Yes.
3 variables and 61 observations.
Why 3 variables you have in output? Which variables you skipped from this? Check its employee ID, its
Yes.
underscore. This is
Yeah.
salary, bonus, hire underscore date. The column name is like this.
4 variables
Yes.
and 6.
4
No.
means 1 observations. This is there, and other 3 all are there.
No. We are selecting 4
4.
from your input data.
Okay,
See
sorry.
this. See
Hmm.
this. Employee ID is 1, salary is 2nd, bonus is 3rd, hire date is 4th column.
4 variables.
Correct. So how you are getting 3? Can you just share your screen?
Got.
Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was missing?
Bonus. This
You did
was.
not write.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's what. So see, it's telling we don't want to select this variables from input to output data set. So you use drop. So when you are using drop, that means keep those which you have not mentioned in your drop statement. So how it is, either you use drop or either you use keep. No need of writing both the statements. So drop and the variables list separated by space, comma. So you're dropping employee ID, gender, country, birth date. So out of original from input data, you have 9 variables. So from 9, you are dropping 4. So from input data, it's 5 selected and 1 is bonus. So total variable in your output data now is 6. Understood?
Yes.
Understood what I said? Okay. So this is what it is. So you either drop or keep which you want, depending on the number, the list of variables. Accordingly, you can type the variables. So save. Any questions here? Yes, no. Okay. Now let's understand how this new data set has been created and what's happening at the back end. Because being a data analyst, we should be knowing how SAS actually creates the new data set. So to understand this, always make a note that whenever you execute any code, there are two steps which are happening at the backend, or two phases happens at the backend. One is compilation and second is execution. So what does this compilation phase actually does? So it's like, for example, I always give this example that if we are in a kitchen and we want to prepare a specific dish, so I always give a very simple dish. I hope you all know what poha is, correct? So if you want to create a poha dish, what we do first time or initially, we collect all the necessary integrates in which we are going to create the poha. So we keep the integrations like, first of all, you select a pan in which you want to create. You select the quantity of pohas. For that, you require onion, oil, and other whatever the spices you may add in it. So you start chopping your onions and all. So this is all what you are making. What is the ingredients to be used? You are making it ready. So it's a compilation phase. And what is an execution? You step by step start adding the things to ultimately to prepare your output dish called as poha. Correct? So same thing. What happens is when you execute any code or you submit any code for SAS to process, first thing what SAS does it, as I said, it reads the step from top to bottom and every statement from left to right. So it first scans for any syntax errors. So there is a syntax check done in compilation phase. Then it creates an area in the memory termed as PDV, called as program data vector, where for each columns from your input data, it holds the observations while processing, and it creates a descriptor portion of a new data set. So yes, so this is the compilation phase where the descriptor portion is created. So now, by which procedure we all observe the descriptive procedure of a data set? Quickly, can anyone recap which proc step we use to view the descriptor portion of your data?
Proc content.
Absolutely. So proc content, we see the descriptor portion, and this is the phase in compilation where the descriptor portion is been viewed. That means it creates a data set, what columns it should be having into your output data and what should be the column attributes. Okay. So let's see how this compilation works. So when you had submit this data step, when SAS starts reading the data step or any step, we know it reads from sequentially from top to bottom. So when it highlights the first statement, it is understood by SAS because it's the data statement naming a data set. SAS creates or it understands that it has to create a new data set. So when it hits the set statement, it is reading an input source. So this program data vector, that is PDV, is created. Because it's an input data, it has defined columns with defined attributes. The column name, their attributes are being termed or added in PDV. So these are all the 9 columns from input data added in PDV with their name, their type, their length. Name, type, and length. All good? Okay. Then when SAS, where is not going to be reading here, where it will be read, but the filtration of rows is not done here. So it directly goes to an assignment statement. It checks into your PDV whether bonus is an existing column. No. So because it's an assignment statement, it first checks whether it's existing. If it is not, then it will add bonus. So how SAS understands its numeric? It is because on this expression, it is understood it's numeric. And by default, we know The default byte of length SAS provide is 8 bytes. Again, when it hits drop, now drop is a compile time statement. So drop means it should drop these variables to your output data. So SAS is going to flag D on those variables so that these variables are not written to your output data. So when it hits run, that time the descriptor portion is created. So this flag D columns are not written to your output data set. So those who are not flagged with D are written to your output data set, and hence at the end of the data step during compilation, when run is hit, the descriptor portion is created. All good? Followed? Yes? No?
Yes.
So this is what the descriptor portion is created. Now this is just a flowchart how SAS works into compilation and execution. Now let's look into how the execution mode of your data step is done. So again, the compilation phase is over. SAS enters the execution phase. It again hits the data step. It reads the data statement. Your PDV gets initialized to missing. Why missing? Because it should receive the values from an upcoming input data source. So it is initializing it to missing. So numeric variables is depicted with period, character with blank. Now when SAS hits the set statement, the first row from your input data set is processed into PDV. Now, during this process, because it is a where statement, SAS will first filter only those observations which are true for this criteria, and only those rows are selected in PDV for processing. Okay. So it will filter the observations before they are brought into PDV. If this condition is true, then only they are processed into or taken into PDV. So yes, the first observation from your input data is true for your criteria of country is equal to AU, job title is rep, contents rep, sorry, those where data is processed. Then with bonus, when it hits this, it will calculate bonus as per this expression. Now drop is already been read during compilation, so drop statement will not be read. That is why drop shows that PDV is flagged with D because it was already read during compilation. So it directly reads run. So when run is read, it is an indication to SAS that whatever is the contents of PDV should be written to your new data. And also SAS should go back to read your data step again for upcoming observations from this input data set. Hence, when run encounters implicit output, implicit return is done. So output implicit, that means whatever is the content of observations processed in PDV is written to your output data. And again with run, it goes back to process your data step again. So again, when SAS goes back to the new cycle of data step, only the bonus variable is reinitialized to missing. Rest all variables are not reinitialized to missing. Why? Because bonus is a newly created variable every time depending on the values of salary. It's not an existing column contributed from input data. Hence, bonus gets reinitialized to missing. Rest all variables are not initialized to missing. Hence, now in next cycle of data step, when set statement encounters, SAS will read the next observation which is true for this criteria. Only those observations are processed. When bonus is hit, it will calculate bonus for the second observation. And when run encounters, implicit output, implicit return. So like this, the data portion keeps on getting accumulating by reading every row from input data. So this is how the data portion gets accumulated. So depending on the observations from input data, that many times for each row, your data step is going to get processed. So this cycle of data step processing is termed as data step iterations. So if your input data has 165 rows, this data step will process 165. But because depending on this criteria, Only 61 observations are true. So only 61 rows will be processed. That means this data set processed 61 times. All good? And this will continue until end of the file. That means until SAS finish reading the last row of your input data. All good? Understood how execution phase works and compilation phase works? Yes, no. Everyone. Are you all with me?
Yes, but we need to, I guess,
No,
revisit
it
the
will take time for you,
time.
but
Yes.
understand this sequence, and that's what the output is. So what we'll do is, I'll be stopping for the day. For today, this is what the topics we just revised, which is compilation and execution. You just go through your PDF, okay? Read the
Yeah.
slides. Tomorrow I'll just recap it and we'll start our day.
Okay.
For today, any doubts, any questions?
Actually, I was trying to go through the last week's lecture in the WhatsApp group. You have posted the YouTube link now. It is not working, I guess,
Okay. Is it for everyone the same?
because before today's lecture, I tried. I thought of revising in this.
No, then you should have messaged me. I would have checked it.
Yeah.
It's okay, no problem. But of course, PDF is there for you for the
PDF.
same.
Yeah.
So you can always go through PDF. I'll check with that video why you are not able to look into it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So for today, we'll stop our day. Tomorrow, we'll resume at same time by 10:30 and we'll
Okay.
complete the upcoming topics. All good?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Enjoy your Saturday. See you all. Bye and take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.